with the Knicks so hot and Brunson playing so brilliantly, he's going to be in the top 5 in the MVP. It has started a great talk show debate. Who is the biggest star in New York sports? And I know, I've got the shirt to prove it, that I'm Yankee boy. I get it. I still believe, Don, that Judge is bigger than Brunson. Not size-wise. I think he's a bigger star than Brunson.
It's a fruitless conversation because I don't know if we're asking the question properly. But
let's
you're
rejigger
right.
it.
Well, no, but I'm just saying is that the Yankees are the most popular team in this market. And Judge is the best player on the most popular team. And he's a beast, and he broke the American League record for home runs not too long ago. So he probably has a little bit more star power. I don't know how else you rephrase it, Michael, because, I mean, is Brunson a better basketball player than Judge is a baseball player? That's probably unfair, too. Because Brunson, I think, is having a tremendous season, and probably may end up having a better 23-24 than Judge has had. But does that make him a better player? I don't know.
How about more popular? Forget about just more popular.
Well, but wouldn't it be Judge just because he's a Yankee? Like if Judge was a Met, it'd be Brunson, right?
I don't know. Judge is a big star. I mean, like literally big. He's even bigger than a basketball player that we're talking about. I just think that there are more eyeballs drawn to them. I mean, the Yankees are a brand unto itself. I get it.
Yeah.
I just think, like, if you ask Jimmy Fallon or Stephen Colbert, both based in New York, who do you want as a guest? I think they'd probably go Judge, don't you think?
Yeah. But I don't know if today that'd be the answer. Like tomorrow, if they had a show tomorrow and Brunson goes for 50 and the Knicks win, you would want Brunson just because you know how New York is, Michael. In the moment, right now, I don't think there's anybody hotter than Brunson. Like, in this particular moment. And then you might even put, like, Artemi Panarin ahead of Judge just because it's April baseball compared to playoff hockey and basketball. The overall broader question is probably going to end up being Judge. Like Panarin, how is Panarin supposed to win it? He's a Ranger. It's hockey. It's the fourth sport. He's a Russian. Like, there's a lot of things that work against Artemi, although I think he's very witty. We had a nice conversation with him on Saturday. But I think Panarin is better at hockey this year than Brunson was in basketball. I think Panarin's had a very underrated season. 120 points, 49 goals. He should have got way more consideration for the MVP in the regular season for the Hart Trophy than he'll get with Kucherov and McKinnon and McDavid because everybody's so captivated by the points that those guys had over Panarin. But Panarin was as important to the Rangers I think anybody was important to anybody in the National Hockey League. But the answer would be Judge, but don't you feel like the answer would be Judge because he's a Yankee?
I'm not sure. All right, who's a better player in their sport? And then you'd almost have to add Juan Soto in there, too. Is it Panarin? Is it Aaron Rodgers? Is it Judge? Is it Soto?
Oh, wow. Well, Aaron Rodgers at this stage of his career, I don't think would be in the conversation.
He's still pretty darn good when healthy.
But overall, his career, he's had the probably greatest better career. Than all of them.
He's had a great career, you're right.
He's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen. But in the moment, I don't think, as much as Jet fans want to see it, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to go out and throw 45 touchdown passes this year. He's going to be 41 years old. So that's kind of unfair. But it's a fun question to have, and it shows you kind of the embarrassment of riches we have here in New York. Because we've got tons of talented players. I mean, Zibanejad is Igor Shesterkin with the Rangers. You take a look at the player that Pete Alonso is. He's not nobody. He might not be Aaron Judge, but he's a heck of a player, Michael, an outstanding player.
Yeah, he'd be in the discussion.
200 home runs in his career. He's certainly in the discussion for sure. So we've been kind of fortunate, but I feel like it becomes a popularity contest, and it's really difficult to beat Judge because he's a heck of a player, but to be on the Yankees and how high profile he is, and I'll tell you what, I think Judge is way more appreciated around Major League Baseball than Brunson is in basketball. I think they're you're around baseball. Is anybody the Judge doesn't fly under the radar the way Brunson does?
He's revered by other players too.
But I think Brunson probably is too. But I don't think they're doing a baseball talk show in Los Angeles talking about Judge, ignoring Judge. But Brunson, for whatever reason, was ignored for most of the year, despite how well he was playing.
All right, let's take some phone calls. Let's take the pulse. Let's go to David and Linden. David, start off the 5 o'clock hour.
What's going on, Casey? What's going on, Don?
We can hardly hear you, man. Are you on speaker?
No, I'm not on speaker. Can you hear me now?
Yes, a little bit better.
Area. I apologize.
Right.
Yeah,
go for it.
Barely, go.
Awesome. I apologize.
That's all right.
I hope the Knicks could knock it out tonight, but I got a baseball point that I want to say. I really wasn't into baseball too much, but my team was a mess. But I wanted to get your opinion on the career of a gentleman that's not playing anymore. They used to play on the Montreal Expos, Jose Vizca.
What? Don, what did he say?
No, I think thank you for the call.
That's a ridiculous
I think we
question.
all collectively can say thank you for the call.
Wow.
Yeah, that was. We can't get that back.
JJ,
I almost want to take a moment.
Once known as formerly JJ North Carolina, I think I'd like to say I'm a new man. And
so you changed your look. I love it.
I don't like to compliment Michael, but when he made the 2 rings comment about Peter, I almost fell on the floor. That was great.
Thank you.
I guess I'll hop in the conversation. I think right now, obviously, it's Brunson. But overall, I mean, you can't really get past Judge's monumental status, figuratively and literally. But I just wanted to give a quick take on the state of the NBA right now. I don't know if you guys saw these quotes by LeBron, how he's complaining about the officials, how the way he reacts. It looks like he's just kind of it's like he just demands this command that he should just be obeyed all the time. He's complaining. I mean, you talk about Embiid and the Sixers and Nurse complaining about every call. Oh my God, he's screaming at the refs every single time. And then after the game, you see these retirement comments. He's he wants to spend time with his family. He's saying it might be time to hang it up. So I mean, hot take. I think he might be done after this year, and it's sad to see him go out like this because he's still at the top of his game. But maybe he leaves L.A. Maybe he goes back to Cleveland to.
Well, one thing, JJ, he's not retiring. He's not retiring. He likes drama. I think what he's done is he's opting out of his contract, which is contractual right, and he's going to force the Lakers to pick Bronny. And the Lakers have said that they'd be more than amenable to picking Bronny. Use a second-round pick on him and pick him. That's all there is to it. But he's not retiring. He's just not. Now he could pick and choose where he wants to go. Does he finally want to come to New York? Does he want to go back to Miami? Does he want to go to Cleveland? Does he want to stay in L.A.? But he ain't retiring. You can't see that happening, right, Don?
No way. Listen, he loves it too much. I think that the complaining does get a little bit much by all these players sometimes, but he wants to play with his son. He wants to continue to play. I think he wants to get another championship. I could totally see him going back to Cleveland, especially if the Cavaliers advance here and maybe make a bit of a run, that he might want to go back and try to see if he can get that other ring with Cleveland, or at least just continue to play in his hometown. He's not going to retire. No way.
Let's go to Chris in Wantagh. Chris.
How's it going, Mike? Don, real quick. Michael, the question is the most popular athlete in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So let me just say, if it's just most popular, period, it's Aaron Rodgers, no debate, but that's not in New York.
Well, why would that be the case? That's not true at all.
Well, again, that was if it was in New York. It's just open.
Even open. Judge is bigger than Rodgers.
I mean, I disagree. Pat McAfee more than explains that. That his career took off with him because everyone tuned in for that. But again, I'm wanting to just open.
Doesn't mean people like him.
Brunson. Yeah, that's fine, but that's called popularity. Okay. So the reason why it's Jalen Brunson and it's not even close, there's not even not another athlete in this market that gets MVP chance in other arenas. There's not another team competing with the Knicks in this arena, in this state. Everyone in New York is supporting Jalen Brunson. Heck, the hate for Randall might be more than the love for Aaron Judge. Knicks run this city. Knicks are going to bring home a championship, and it's going to bring
But Chris,
the whole
can I stop you
together.
for 1 second? All right? You sound like you're a big Knick fan. Do you realize that the Yankees, a regular season Yankee game and a regular season Knick game, is no competition in terms of the viewership?
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? The Yankee ratings are much higher than the Knick ratings on MSG for a regular season game.
Michael, you just said he's the most popular guy. Aaron Judge does not get MVP chance. He does not have
Chris, he's getting MVP chance. He's getting MVP chance from Knick fans on the road.
Everywhere.
But no, from Knick fans. Chris, from Knick fans.
Right.
You can keep saying everywhere.
Yeah,
he's not like going to Cleveland, and Cavalier fans are not chanting MVP for Brunson.
And Yankee fans, Chris, tap out, buddy, tap out. You just
you're being a jerk, Chris. You want to have a discussion, and you're being a jerk. You're being an arrogant jerk.
Chris, you're missing out. For Chris, goodbye. I'm not even going to engage in it. You got to tap out, buddy, because you talk about popularity. Look up the definition of popularity. All right? You have to at least be liked to be popular. We're not talking about the most famous. We're not talking about the most recognizable. Popularity. All right? You don't think Yankee fans travel? Michael will tell you that. Ranger fans travel. New York travel. So the fact that they're chanting MVP in Portland does not win you your argument. You think it's your drop the mic moment. It's not. The fact that Michael says that Yankee regular season games beat Knick regular season games is the drop the mic moment. Now, in this particular case,
tonight
the Knicks are hotter. There's more attention on the Knicks because they're in the playoffs, but stop it. The Knicks do not own this town. The Yankees do.
Now, the only point that you made that made sense, that New York is united to root for the Knicks. New York's not united to root for the Yankees. There's Met fans that aren't rooting for the Yankees. There are very few Met fans.
Right.
I mean, that's true. But I would ask that gentleman, the year that Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs, people were on the road chanting MVP.
Yeah.
Yankee fans that traveled.
Yeah, his drop the mic moment, he dropped it on his foot. I mean, it just didn't work.
And he kept shouting. I mean, if you're going to be an arrogant ass, then don't even... We're here to have a conversation with you.
Now, the Knicks are right there because of the fact that they own basketball because the Nets don't have nearly as big a fan base. There's a lot of Met fans. But we're talking about the New York Yankees. Ratings are in the first round of the playoffs. They got a chance to close it out tonight. I'm sure the local numbers are going to be astronomical tonight. Same with the Rangers. But and the fact that Aaron Rodgers is the most popular guy, how do you say that when there are more Giant fans than Jet fans? Now, is he recognizable?
Said in the country, he kept referring to Pat McAfee. Now, Pat McAfee, it was a very big segment for them. But Pat McAfee's he's more popular than Aaron Rodgers.
Well, wait a minute, Michael. Are people watching Aaron Rodgers on McAfee because they like him, or are they going to want to know what he's going to have to say? And the polarizing comment that he is going to make.
It's a great point. He's not likable.
No, but because he said popular insinuate that you like the person. Now, if you're going to say infamous or famous or more recognizable, that's a different conversation. Aaron Rodgers in football is way more popular than baseball ever can dream of being, or any other sport in this country for that matter. But just because they tune into McAfee every Tuesday to see his interview doesn't mean they love the guy. They want to know what he's going to say next. Chris Montauk, please.
And he kept saying he gets chanted MVP. It's like they go to Portland and the Trailblazer fans are chanting MVP. No, they're not. It's Knick fans that are in the crowd.
Michael, I was in Washington on Sunday night for a playoff game in Washington in a sea of red. And I was hearing Igor chants because Ranger fans travel.
Right.
Just
it
like
wasn't
Yankee
Capital fans
and Knick fans. New York travels because there's so many of us. But yeah, that's your argument that in Denver you're going to hear MVP chants, that makes him more popular than Aaron Judge?
And the arrogance that he felt like, as you said, he dropped the mic and he dropped it on his toe.
Yeah, right. Oh, but that was fun.
I talk for a living.
Before.
So we go to Nestor on the West Side Highway. He's going to the Knick game. Nestor, how pumped are you?
Yo, super pumped, Mike. What's up, Don? First time caller.
Welcome aboard.
Man.
Oh, man, it's such a great feeling to talk to you guys. Finally, been listening to you guys for almost, 77 years now?
Wow,
you guys
it's been a long time. You're right.
Listen, I'm going to the game tonight with my son, man, and we're going to have a blast. From a popularity standpoint, I don't know why you guys take calls from this dude like Chris. If you walk into a restaurant and Aaron Judge is sitting there, I guarantee you Knicks fans are going to recognize him. Islander fans will recognize him. But if Brunson is sitting there, the Yankee fans might not recognize him, right? So it's Aaron Judge, Brunson, Soto, and if Judge better watch out because I think Soto is going to be pulling up a popularity string on him here coming soon.
Well, he's got to stay here longer than 1 year, but I hear what you're saying. And, the interesting thing, I think Brunson's very recognizable, too. He has a distinctive look. Obviously, his hair is distinctive. So if he's in a restaurant, people are going to notice him. I think a lot of New Yorkers would know who he is. I think Aaron Judge is 6'7" in size. He towers over everybody in the restaurant, so he will be recognized. But let's not give, just because we think Brunson is not quite on the stature of Judge, let's not give short shrift to Brunson. He's immensely popular in the city. Immensely.
Yeah. And the Knicks are immensely popular, too. It's just that I think the Yankees are just because of their history, the history of winning. Now, that could obviously change, Michael, if the Yankees took a downturn and the Knicks started winning championships every year, because I think basketball is very, very popular. And in some segments of the area, it might be even more popular than baseball.
We have two notes,
the Yankees are just a monolith.
Thank you. It's because of their announcer. Kristaps Porzingis, according to Woj, is expected to miss a minimum of several games with what they're calling a right soleus strain. So, sources tell ESPN. Excuse me, a hiccup. So I told you that's an injury, that's a bear. Well, so a minimum of a couple of games, several games.
So he's likely out for the rest of this series, which can only be one more game because they're up 3-1, which would then, I would think, put him in question for round 2. And we'll see. You're right. These are the things that happen. The more games you play, and this goes for the Knicks too, the more there's a chance that somebody might be able to get hurt. That's why you want to try to close it out tonight. Because every game you play, you lost Bogdanovich on Sunday afternoon. The more games you play, the more of a chance somebody's going to get hurt. So finish it off tonight if you can.
He has the same injury that Giannis has. And Giannis is not appearing, in these must-wins for the Bucks. Talking Yanks, on September 14th of 2022, they have a clip of Aaron Judge getting MVP chants at Fenway. So I would ask Chris, were those Red Sox fans chanting that? Or Yankee fans have to make the trip to Fenway? What do you think, Chris?
That's what Chris didn't get, is that New Yorkers travel. Michael's fortunate enough to answer the Yankee one. I'm fortunate enough to travel with the Rangers. Michael, any arena, anywhere. Maybe with the exception of, Vancouver, which is 3,000 miles away and in Canada, you're seeing minimum 800 to 1,000 Ranger fans in any building. Because they travel well. They've got fans everywhere. But more importantly, they love to travel, go on trips, see their favorite team play. That's just the way that it is because there are just so many of them. Now, Yankee fans the same way.
VJ from Brooklyn tweets out, the Knicks are just as popular, if not more popular, than the Yankees, fellas. This is the same conversation as MLB being more popular than the NBA. It's not. Nationally, it's not. Although the World Series gets the same numbers as the NBA Finals. But, VJ, I've got the proof.
Yeah.
The Yankee ratings are higher than the Knicks ratings. They just are. Now, the Knicks will beat the Yankees tonight. They beat the Yankees on Sunday because these are playoff games. And if the Yankees were in a playoff series, they would beat the Knicks in a regular season. But head-to-head, season, these are numbers. You can't argue with numbers. This is not Aaron Rodgers saying, well, I just pulled this out of the air, and I think the Yankees are more popular.
Listen,
the Yankees get much better ratings on Yes than the Knicks get on MSG. Not a knock on the Knicks. The Yankees are more popular.
Yeah, and listen, this is coming from somebody that doesn't like the Yankees. All right? But I'm just telling you, living in this market, working in this market for as long as I have, it is just an absolute fact. I got this from Greek earlier today. That the Yankee game last night against the Orioles in April had a grand total of 295,000 people watching. Now, you think there's ever going to be a regular season game that the Knicks are going to play that's going to get over 300,000 people watching it? No, it's usually around 120, 125, something like that. Heck, there were times, Michael, where the Rangers outdrew the Knicks on TV during the regular season. But overall, the Knicks are way more popular, so television numbers can be a little bit skewed. But we're talking about the Yankees with the history and the winning. And it's baseball in this town. I agree. In this country, I believe the NBA is number 2. I think it goes football, then it's the NBA, then it's baseball, then it's hockey. That's what I think it is with the 4 major sports. But in New York, and that's not to mention 160,000 to watch the Mets last night. I think the Mets actually sometimes get better numbers than the Knicks during the regular season. It's baseball in New York. It's Yankees in New York.
So, and if I could say this, again, I don't want to be hanging on the rim for the company that I love, but yes, it is the most viewed regional sports network in the country. In the country. And that's not because of the Michael Kay Show or the Nets. Believe me, it's not. It's because of the Yankees. MSG is not the most viewed regional sports network in the country. So please, when you come with, if I'm giving you facts, accept them. I'm not giving you my opinion. These are facts.
Now, do I think tonight's game is going to outrate in New York what the Yankees did last night? Of course, because it's a playoff game, and so will the Rangers when they play their first game against Carolina, because it's the playoffs. But on a day in, day out basis, there are moments where other teams get it, but it's always going to be for the foreseeable future a Yankee town. The interesting thing is when you throw the Giants into the mix, but that's football and it's once a week, so the numbers aren't as relatable. But when you check the demographics, when you check the numbers, it's just that's just the answer. Sorry.
Did you see this story, Don? Jose Abreu of the Astros, 36 years old, and he's making $19.5 million this year and next. He's being optioned by the Astros to West Palm. Their A-ball team.
Oh.
He hasn't been able to hit all year. He's being optioned to A-ball.
That's as inexpensive an A-ball player as we've ever seen. A-ball. Now, what's the logic behind that?
They're trying to, I guess, bring him down to absolutely no pressure and just redo his swing. I mean, the Blue Jays, like 25 years ago, did it with Roy Halladay, and it worked out. But Roy Halladay was still a young player. This is a 36-year-old man. I give him credit for accepting it because he didn't have to accept it. So something, I guess, needs to be done.
Yeah, I guess. But, wow, that's humbling. I just thought maybe is their A-ball affiliate closer? Is there some kind of logistics to why A-ball and not AAA or AA?
I don't know. Let's go to Ernie in Astoria. Ernie.
Hello, how's it going, gentlemen?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I'm going over the 59th Street Bridge, so I'm sorry there's some bad static.
Go for it.
So this is how I determine if someone is popular or not. I asked my wife. So I called her. I said, "Who do you recognize, Brunson or Aaron Judge?" She says, "Who the heck is Brunson?"
But is she a fan of sports?
Right?
Wait, is she a fan of sports, Ernie?
No, she's not.
Okay.
She's not. So to me, that's what makes you popular. It's that you're able to cross over to non-sports fans. So if Aaron Judge was to go to the middle of the Upper East Side or to Ravenswood, everyone would recognize him. Well, I don't think the same thing is for Brunson.
Now, what team do you root for?
Oh, I'm horrible. I'm a Phillies fan.
Okay, so that's good because it's not like you were watching Yankee games. Well, I mean, Judge just broke the record for American League home runs, so he's probably been out and he's been better in New York for a longer period of time. But I guess that's a pretty good gauge. I used to always
also
play that.
Brunson. You're giving her the wrong name. It's Charles Bronson, Jalen Brunson.
I used to have a game on my Saturday morning show, and my grandmother was alive, so my grandmother doesn't know Jack. And I'd ask her, like, a famous player in sports, and the caller would have to guess whether my grandmother would know the person or not. And I think one of the only people she knew was Jeter.
Really?
Yeah. And she didn't like sports. She didn't know anything about sports. But some names resonate. Yeah, how many commercials are you in? Like different, things that pop up. Judge doesn't do a ton, does he, Michael? I know he does.
He's doing more now.
Pepsi.
He's doing more now.
I haven't seen Brunson in anything. But it's difficult
I think
to gauge.
Judge just signed with Ralph Lauren, and he also signed with Prime, which is a very, very popular drink amongst kids.
Oh my God! That's all Marco talks about is he wants Prime.
That's all I have to get for Charlie too.
But I won't get it for him. I don't want him drinking those types. It's 6? No, that's too young.
A couple of updates for the Knicks and the Sixers tonight. Tom Thibodeau said that Mitchell Robinson will warm up tonight. The Knicks will see where he is after he does so. And Sixers coach Nick Nurse on Embiid, no update yet. No update yet. He's suffering, obviously, from the after effects of the surgery on the knee, but also he's been having a migraine today, too.
And listen, I know he's not a very popular person in New York, Michael, but if he's got a migraine right now, I feel so bad for him. That is the worst. I've known people that have migraines, and it's completely debilitating. It's not for people like, oh, he's got a headache. It's beyond a headache. If it's a migraine, we're talking about nausea, dizziness. That's a tough world to be in, man.
Yeah, he wants to play. It's a must-win for them. So my guess is he'll be on the court. And it might be very difficult. It might be terrible, but my guess is he'll be on the court. So we've been talking about the popularity of Brunson and the Knicks and the Yankees and Brunson and Judge. Okay, so Robert Randolph, I have mad respect for. He's a great musician, composer. He just tweeted at me and Don, and he said, you guys sound like old people talking about TV ratings. Young people don't watch TV. They consume Knicks game highlights through social platforms. Basketball and the Knicks numbers are way above. Well, my answer to Robert would be, and I say this with all due respect, since we're talking about social media, the Yankees have 3.8 million followers on X. The Knicks, 2.4. Right there. Aren't young people on social media? That's right there. Same thing with Instagram. So, yeah, I know kids, I know my son consumes sports on social media. They watch highlights. But let me tell you something, Robert. The bills are paid by TV. The bills are paid by TV.
Well,
it's hard for teams to monetize social media. The bills are paid by TV.
I don't think it should be the only analytic television rating, so I take exception to the whole, you sound like old men. It's the New York Yankees. You're talking about drawing 35, 40,000 people per game. It's the Yankees. It's the interlocking NY. There's just something about that.
He just showed them on X, 3.8 million to 2.4 million. Yeah, where are the young people, Robert?
Now, do I think that LeBron James may be more relevant in this country than Aaron Judge? Yeah, because I think basketball is probably more popular than baseball. But I said, in this town, it's always going to be, for the foreseeable future, the Yankees. And we're not talking about nobody. We're talking about Aaron Judge, who hit more home runs than any other American League ball player, one of the best players in baseball.
And also
he's almost 7 feet tall. He wears number 99. He's very recognizable. And he's been in the market longer.
And if we want to talk about the most popular athlete in New York over the last 3 decades, it's a Yankee. It's Derek Jeter.
Yeah,
and we keep talking about Brunson's popularity. The NBA All-Star voting is a popularity contest. Kids vote for the NBA All-Star. Dame Lillard won. He beat out Jalen Brunson. That's Milwaukee against New York. So, we're all in the middle of it. We're falling in love with Brunson because he's had such an unbelievable season. But let's not overblow what's real. Hey, Dame Lillard beat him out for the All-Star.
And also, again, we're not saying that tonight is going to be any comparison. More eyeballs are on Brunson and his playoff game against the Sixers at the Garden than what Judge does in Baltimore. It's going to be more relevant. There's no question. We're just talking about the overall, everything being equal. It's a different world. But tonight, it's a Knick town. Tonight, it's Brunson's town. And I'm sure the numbers for the Knicks will dwarf the Yankees. But it also takes an elimination game in the playoffs compared to a baseball game in April. I got Jalen, so I do apologize if you're hearing some noises or whatever, but she's on my lap.
Jalen. Is she enjoying the show, Don?
Are you enjoying the show, Jalen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we need. See, young people like the show, Robert.
How old are you, Jalen?
6.
6. That's right in our wheelhouse.
Now,
either 6 or 85.
Now, who do you like better, Jalen Brunson or Aaron Judge?
Jalen Brunson.
Oh.
Because they have a similar first name.
It's a very scientific study we've done.